Hey, how are you, Jess?
Amazing. How are you?
Good. So, I just wanted to talk about just a little bit about the retreat. I just have like a couple questions, just so some of the people who are interested in coming on a retreat with Mel and I, if they have any questions or if they could relate or resonate with your experience. So, the first question I wanted to ask you was, how many times have you been to Shasta, and what made you come on this trip, on the retreat?
So I was born and raised not far from there, Modoc County. So I have spent a lot of time in Mount Shasta, just never on the, I call it my conscious spiritual level, because I'm like, there was a reason why I was born there and, close to it.
Yeah.
So I've been there a lot of times, but it was kind of interesting. It just came to me in a meditation that I needed to go visit Mount Shasta. And it was kind of a weird thing for me because I really haven't had a desire to go there since I was in my teens. Like, I drive by it all the time. But I've never really just like, oh, I should go to Mount Shasta. And so it was kind of shocking when it came to me. And I told my husband, I'm like, oh my God, I have to go to Mount Shasta. And this was in the middle of winter. And he's like, when? And I'm like, I think Spring Equinox. And he was kind of like, well, I don't want to go up there in snow and do nothing and sit in a cabin. And so I was actually planning a trip by myself. And I think I was watching Mel's light language video or YouTube video or something. And I had a weird connection, like right off the bat with her. And just, we kind of started messaging back and forth, and then somehow connected with you. And we all started talking about, you guys were saying you were going to do a retreat in Shasta. And I'm like, when? And it happened to be Spring Equinox. So I'm like, I'm in. Like, no questions asked. Let's just do this. So, oh, my goats are coming. So it was really just a divine timing and a divine intervention, the way it all happened.
Right.
So it was beautiful.
So out of the retreat, like our days together, it was 4 days and 3 nights, right?
Yeah.
What were three of your top favorite things about the retreat in Shasta?
So, of course, the very first one was going on the Mount Shasta spiritual tour with Paul, going to the portals and just being on the mountain. And I honestly, like, it was a complete snowstorm for us. I mean, it was not something I thought I would want to go out and do in the middle of the snow, but I felt like that made it even more magical. Like, it just was such an enlightening experience, and I came away with so much. I mean, it blew my whole everything wide open.
Yes.
And then honestly, I'd probably say the second favorite was just our time in the cabin and being able to, the three of us, really get to know each other and have the time to process everything, and to have two other women with me who we were all on such different paths, but all had the same overall kind of goal with the collective, and just going down our, ascension, and just having that feminine energy that really held space as we were all going through things was amazing.
Gosh, I know. It's like we're all on different chapters, on different parts, and we come from different parts even of the world, but we
Mm-hmm.
needed each other like at that time. Like we
Yes.
all like interwove on our map to like really just be at Shasta at the spring equinox, like holding in, anchoring that love and bringing it back down to earth, and like really healing the collective along with healing ourselves, of course. And that's the whole main part of like going on retreats, is like being able to heal ourselves and bring it back to where we came from, or where we're needed right now, where our light is needed.
Yes. And I feel like that was really what I came away with from that whole trip, was just like my path was just like right there. And I knew it. And then my third favorite, we'll get to that later. My third favorite was probably definitely the shopping, like just being able to go to all the crystal shops and hearing you go and start getting all crazy on all the musical instruments was amazing.
Definitely like some activation for me with the music. for sure.
Big time.
Oh, and by the way, that's funny because I just got I got 2 sound bowls like this week, but they're coming in, and then I've been using this every single day. My throat chakra.
Oh, I love it. Oh, and it's your throat. Yay!
And then I even got like my bell.
I have my Tibetan singing bowl that has become like a huge part of my practice now.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to get some crystal bowls. I'm just like, ah.
Yeah, I incorporate like the sound healing in my meditation, and it definitely like brings me more higher dimensional wise.
Mm-hmm.
But
you can
I got
feel that connection. It's
yes. And like being on the tour with Paul, it showed me, it was like kind of my first experience of knowing, like consciously being aware that I am in another dimension right now. Like I could be in my body and I can see things, but I'm actually looking at it at a different perspective and a different awareness. So when I do like incorporate the light language or like the sound healing in my meditations, I can open my eyes and I can actually see like I am in another dimension. Like I am in a higher dimension than my physical vessel.
I completely get that. And that was one thing that was really interesting for me was I've done light language for a while now, and being on Shasta, like when we were hiking, I was doing light language almost the whole time. Like I just could not stop. Like it just like was sitting in my throat, and I was just like, I gotta get it out. Like I just gotta let it out, let it out, let it out. And I mean, ever since then, it just feels so much more natural, where before I would like, oh my God, am I being silly?
Yeah.
And no, not at all. Like it is that connection, and it's so beautiful.
Yes. Now that we're talking about that, I wanted to recommend to you this book called The Woman of Lemuria.
I ordered it.
Oh, you did? Oh my gosh, sis. Like the beginning might be a little slow, but once you get a little bit into like chapter 2, talking about the Pleiadian mothers and the Pleiadian teachers, oh man, it'll resonate so much with us and what we're saying. And it talks about like the sisterhood and the true meaning of the sisterhood in Lemuria and how it's coming back now, and how we're all being called back to everything that we were doing in Lemuria. So it's crazy. I can't wait for you to see that.
Oh, and like the Sophia code, what were the odds that I hit Mother Mary on Holy Week? I started Mother Mary on Monday because I have been definitely like, you read a chapter of the key codes and you have to sit with it. Like, I mean,
can't go on.
Isis, like, and Green, I'm like, oh, wow, okay, like, there's some major downloads happening right now and total DNA activations. And for that book to have been bought in Shasta on top of it, I'm like, everything's just been like, the timing has been so divine. I mean, and you sit there and I didn't even realize like I had started Mother Mary on Monday until I saw you were reading it. And I'm like, what chapter am I on? And I'm like, oh my God, you're reading Mother Mary. And then I'm like, it's Holy Week. What are the odds? Yeah, so crazy. Kyle, no. My goat is like eating my shoelaces.
Did you know that she channeled it in Shasta too?
Yes.
Oh, crazy.
Oh, so amazing.
But okay, so besides that, then we also did your Reiki attunement in Shasta. How was that?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I have to kind of let anyone else watching this know my story about that. So I had done my goat is trying to eat my beads.
I need to take this off.
I know. I see it all the time when I see you, and I'm like, yay! Oh my God, I love it. So, anyway, so I did my level 1 here, and I kept like trying to go do my level 2, and I just was feeling like I kept like, man, you need to pump the brakes on that right now. Like it's not time to do your level 2. And I was kind of questioning myself if I had done the right thing by even doing my level 1. Like, was I meant to be a Reiki practitioner? I kind of was just getting a little defeated that every time I try to schedule my level 2, and it was just weird. Like most people do their level 1 and 2 in one weekend. And the way the guy that I did it with, he's like, no, I do 1 and then we'll do 2 and just slowly move into it. And so I kept like, God, maybe I'm just not meant to do this. And So then when you and I started talking and found out that you were a Reiki master, I was like, oh my God, this is why I need to do my level 2 with Jasmine in Shasta. And then not only that, but then to find out that it was Holy Fire Reiki, which resonated so much heavier with me and my views and my path. I mean, it was just so beautiful. And to be able to go through that process with you, I felt like it was just something I don't think a lot of people get to experience. I mean, the energy that was on Shasta at the time, and then the connection. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. It was so amazing.
I was like honestly so grateful to like and so honored to first of all attune you, but also in Shasta and like with my sister, like on the spring equinox. Like how much more magical can we get? Like that was so amazing. I loved it.
And it was just amazing because, I was telling my husband that I'm like, that was why I was meant to wait, where I was sitting here like thinking like, oh, okay, I wasn't meant to do this. And I was kind of like bummed out. Like, I'm like, what is going on? Like, I love this. I think this energy healing is beautiful. Why can't I do it? Like every time I tried to schedule it, something would come up or we'd have to be busy the weekend that they were doing it. And I live in Idaho. There's not a lot going on here in that way. I mean, I think there's 1 or 2 people in Boise that do it. And even Boise's an hour away from me. Well, gosh, I'm an hour away from everything, but and it was just like I was feeling so defeated. And then to go through everything and then learning about holy fire versus just traditional Tibetan, it was everything it was supposed to be. And it's funny how we sit there and we doubt like, oh gosh, I must have done something wrong. And I'm like, no, everything happened exactly like it was supposed to, like it always does.
Definitely. So how have you been since, and how is your Reiki since?
Oh my gosh. So my Reiki practice has been blowing up. I do a lot of distance Reiki because I live out in the middle of nowhere. And a lot of the people who have sought me out have been people that I've known either growing up or that are living in California and have been following my Instagram because I used to do fitness coaching. So I have a lot of people that followed me through that journey. And so I get a lot of that, and it has just been absolutely magical. I mean, I'm doing like at least 1 Reiki session a day distance. I do Reiki on my friends and family here now. I mean, it's pretty funny. My kids are like, I don't have a stomach ache. Mom, come Reiki me.
Oh, that's perfect.
And I love it. And I think it's just been, the more I'm doing it, the more I'm seeing my channel open. And then I just feel so incredibly blessed and grateful to be able to be that channel to help people heal themselves. And I'm like, all I am is just the channel. Like I'm just like the facilitator in their own healing. And I think it's so amazing to be able to have that honor to help people in that way.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that I was able to give that to you. And through our time together, it was definitely very honoring for me, like to do that on Shasta with you.
I think it's beautiful. And anyone that goes on your retreats and needs to do their Reiki attunements or ignitions, Jasmine is so your girl. You made it such, and I'm a very closed off person, and I get very uncomfortable sometimes around groups of people or people I don't know. Like I've read energy my whole life, and you made the whole experience just so beautiful and peaceful, where I was able to really focus on the ignition itself and not what was going on around me. Like you created a space that was so comfortable that I just loved it.
Oh, thank you, sis.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. But other than that, I think that's all the questions that I had about the retreat. Yes, thank you.
Oh, I can't wait to do another one.